good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the hell what time of day it is, wherever you may be. Welcome to the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Wright, coming to you live from the beautiful and could say nighttime, dawnish hours of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Burning the midnight oil right now. Uh, Getting you guys your draft coverage that you need. I just got done watching that draft coverage, which ended about 2 hours ago Eastern Standard Time now, but just getting all the notes and everything prepared, my opinion, prep. And it was a jam-packed draft. I was definitely excited to see how everything turned out. Um, Excited for the guys and the opportunities, and a lot of them for where they're potentially about to go, for what they're about to do, what this opportunity is going to be for their lives and making generational wealth. So, congratulations to all the guys that got drafted in the first round, and best of luck to you. And many successful careers. But nonetheless, we're going to get right into it. And going through the draft coverage, obviously starting off with the Chicago Bears, we all knew Caleb Williams was going to be the number one pick. Really no really shock there. As we know, that was obviously the number one pick. A lot of expectations, but Caleb being the number one pick. Number two, Jaden Daniels. I think the Washington Commanders kind of do a little bit of a smokescreen out there late, trying to confuse people, trying really to get them thrown off and suggest possibly that they may go with Drake May. I never once really thought this regime or iteration of the Commanders would really go forward and say, you know what, let's really continue the same pattern of monotonous, maniacal, asinine, retarded ass thinking that's going to cause us, to be 5-11 or 6-10 or 7-10 or wherever, that's going to cause us just to miss the playoffs and be in the basement of the NFC and the NFC East again. So it's definitely good they got Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to be refreshing for that franchise. And I kind of had a feeling that he's probably going to go there in the first place. A lot of analysts, said this. I kind of told you guys this in the coverage. I kind of thought he was going to be the pick and he was going to need to be the pick if they wanted a fresh start. Drake May going to New England. Watching it live, I'll be honest with you, the pundits and the analysts, like the Joel Klass, the Rich Eisens, some of the Mel Kipers and guys, they tried to, because you gotta remember, some of these guys are on the inside. Okay, some of these guys are insiders. They've been doing this shit for fucking 40 years. I'm about to be 36, so you think about it. 40, 50 years, these guys been doing it. So, be that as it may, when you're sitting there and you're evaluating this and you're going into it and you're hearing Drake May, you're hearing, Chris Sims on Pro Football Talk or some of the analysts on some of the alphabet networks, you hear them saying, well, Drake May's just not really that good. He's not ready to start. If you're the New England Patriots, I get that you got Jacoby Brissett. You're basically, throwing the towel in this year and say, hey, yeah, we ain't competing for no Super Bowl. It's ain't about championships. So for all of us right now, the main focus is just growing. I get it. However, this kid is possibly not going to play for another year or two. Let's be real. In today's NFL, he's probably going to play at some point this season because we all know how Jacoby Brissett is. So, like I said, I'll very interested to see how that works out. But Drake May being the number 3 pick. Number 4 was Marvin Harrison Jr., a.k.a. Maserati Marv. No shock there. The best, in my opinion, probably the most complete receiver in the draft. So shout out to the Cardinals for being smart and, making the right pick, getting Kyler Murray a weapon, an actual weapon that he's going to actually, make great plays with and actually do something with, a la what he had with, kind of quasi with DeAndre Hopkins. This will be a little bit better because he's younger, Marvin Harrison Jr., and it'll give Kyler Murray some time to grow with him. So we'll see. But like I said, great pick for the Cardinals. Joe Alt and the Chargers. I can't lie to you. I had a feeling that Jim Harbaugh was going to go with a lineman. I wasn't sure he was going with a tackle. You have Rashawn Slater. Kind of didn't think, But again, depending on how things shape out, because how the NFL works. Guy comes in, he played left tackle in college. He switches and plays right. Or he comes in and he plays guard. And then eventually when a certain guy leaves, he kicks out to that tackle spot. So, it alternates from time to time. It switches. Sometimes it could be just a rotation or just the way they have things set up. Be that as it may, it's just one of those things where I got to give credit where credit is due. Jim Harbaugh builds from the trenches. You know, you think about the guys he's grabbed before, the Alex Boones, the Mike Iupati's, you know, guys of that nature and that ilk. This all makes sense. So shout out to Joe All, shout out to Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers. It's making smart moves. The Giants, not gonna lie to y'all, watching it live, I had a feeling that they were going to make a good selection because, in all honesty, I really believed I didn't believe all of the quarterback hype. I believe some of the quarterback hype around the Giants. I do believe they want to get off Daniel Jones. I do believe they feel like they have buyer's remorse and they feel like, you know, ultimately they're not getting what they felt like they should have gotten out of him. Having said all that, the real, you know, fucking problem is you don't have any fucking linemen. You don't really have any skill position players and you suck. So, you know, it's just like, how do you really rebound from that? How do we really compete? How do we at least give the image that we're giving this quarterback a chance? And clearly, you know, getting Malik Nabers, who, like I said, is possibly second best. You know, some people say third, some people say first best receiver in this draft. You know, it's clear as day. But, you know, I feel bad for Daniel Jones, a.k.a. Danny Dimes, because, you know, the end is near. You know, Daniel Jeremiah on NFL Network tonight during the draft was making a joke saying, Daniel Jones, you can put away the antacid tablets. No, actually, stock up, because I don't think that was an indicator that they really want him to be successful. I think that was an indicator that when he crashes and burns, and they expect it to, the quarterback who they plan to draft next year, or the guy that, you know, possibly Drew Lock, whomever it is going to have that guy there in the stable. And they just need to see if that quarterback can fit with them and whatever skill position players they continue to draft, second, third, so on rounds that they have with their picks. Going forward, J.C. Latham, great pick for the Titans, I think. They definitely needed a tackle. They got to see what Will Levis is. Got to give them some people that can actually block and contest and fight with those dogs in the trenches, especially in the AFC South. So credit there for the Titans on that one. This, to me, was the move that spun everything around, that changed the whole draft. And I must say, it is probably, and we'll see, I'll probably look back at this and laugh, and y'all could probably laugh at me. I'll laugh at my damn self because I don't give a fuck. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm a humble fucking person. I can laugh at myself. I can state when I'm wrong. I don't think I'm God. All I do is give you facts and numbers, and then I'll tell you, state when I'm giving you my opinion, and from there we go. Having said all that, getting Michael Penix, Atlanta, was low-key the best move in the whole fucking draft. Now, some of you are probably thinking like, well, what is it exactly that I mean by that? Like, why is it that move specifically? Why am I now at the 8th pick in the Atlanta Falcons and Michael Penix is like the great move? Gladly fucking explain it to you. Michael Penix, clearly one of the best pocket passers we've ever seen, left-handed quarterback. We all know, I touched on the draft coverage already with teams that visited him and talked about him. I'm not going to beat this man's, head in or beat y'all ears today about his injury history and what he suffered with before. I'm going to talk about what he's done the past 2 years, and he's been productive. He's been good. And he's been one of the most elite players in college football. Having said all that, I'm so happy that Arthur Blank and the new GM Terry Fontenot aren't falling into old stupid habits that I've seen teams like a la the Minnesota Vikings, a la the Rams prior to Matt Stafford and Jared Goff, a la the Tennessee Titans when in between their young quasi-bridge quarterbacks, just making shitty, dumb moves where you just grab a veteran and it's like, hey, you know what? We're going to pay all this money to a veteran. Oh, Jets, excuse me, I just wanted to slip my mind. Create another horrible example. You know what? We got all these, we got all this young talent, but we're going to put a veteran behind him that's possibly old and shot and, fucking washed, and he's done. Let's just throw him out there. We're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to get all the wins we need. Yeah, so lean on that to say, I'm not a fan of Kirk Cousins. I'm a firm believer. Your record is what it is. It indicates the status of what you produce. And for you to have one playoff victory in all the years that he has been a starting quarterback, and to get the money that he got, understand, and guys, feedback and communication from the fans, from customers is always key. Having said that, do you think the Atlanta Falcons did not hear it throughout all these weeks? That's a lot of money to Kirk Cousins coming off an ACL injury. Kirk Cousins ain't the answer, y'all. Kirk Cousins is probably the answer for a year or two. Now that I know that they have Michael Penix, it's probably the answer for this year. Because you don't get the 8th pick in the draft and get a quarterback that high for him to sit for 2 years. And I like, too, during the broadcast, y'all got to peep the funny shit. During the broadcast, they said they kind of gave Kirk Cousins a heads up, to what was going on. I'm going to be completely honest with you. If a report comes out that he had no notification whatsoever, and then you have Ian Rappaport reporting 15 to 20 minutes after the selection, when people are still stirring on it. Oh, the Falcons said that they gave Kurt a heads up while they were making the pick. Guys, you can put lipstick on a pig, it ain't a woman, okay? You can shine up shit and you can't call it gold, it's a turd. They knew damn good and well when they gave Kirk Cousins that money. Remember, y'all, they flirted with Justin Fields. That was a possibility for him, okay? Think about that. So with that all being said, they didn't want to commit to a Justin Fields because looking at getting this selection on Michael Penix, they wanted to have somebody in the back pocket. So for when Kirk Cousins falls apart, they have their future right there ready to go. Great selection by the Falcons. Great future, great mindset. Get this kid some more fucking weapons. And like I said, once this Kirk Cousins roller coaster crashes and burns, which it will at some point, Michael Penix is going to be a starter. So, having said that, we're going to move forward with the Bears. Rome Odunze, no shock there. Got to get Caleb Williams more weapons. He already has Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, Cole Kmet, DJ Moore, but Moore is always better. He's going to need it, especially in the NFC North, especially the NFC period. I mean, fuck, man. I mean, the NFC is just loaded. Like, you see what's happening at the receiver position, the way guys are getting paid, the way it's expanding. So it's great to see. Going further, another part where the draft started to get weird and switch. Like I said, some stability with Rome Odunze, but then it comes right back into the wild and crazy with the Jets making a trade with the Vikings, literally swapping 11 to 12, getting J.J. McCarthy for the Vikings. It was written. I mean, you heard the rumors throughout the weeks. You kind of knew where it was headed. Make no mistake, a lot of people were sitting there saying, Kevin O'Connell was very endowed with J.J. McCarthy's footwork and his pocket presence and his decision making. And again, I heard people making comps tonight to Alex Smith. I don't give a damn who you are. If you are giving comps to Alex Smith wasn't a bust. Let's be frank. We all thought the first 4 years of his career probably was a fucking bust. Probably was going to be garbage. Having said all that, though, he wound up having a good career, solid career. Ended on a sad note with the injury, but, solid career. Then I heard, guys reaching and saying, oh, it's going to be like C.J. Stroud. I ain't comparing nobody to one person, this person ever, because let's be honest, guys, they didn't think C.J. Stroud was going to break any rookie passing record a year ago. So don't let them, ear fuck you with all that. Oh, this guy was going to be this great and we knew it. They don't know shit. They're all speculating. It's all a guess. But again, getting J.J. McCarthy, huge for the Vikings. They got their quarterback of the future now. You don't have to rest in your laurels on Sam Darnold and hope that he's great and, because there's not really a great quarterback possibly coming out next year. So you got to kind of hope and hinge that, this is great, like I said, for Minnesota. We're going to talk about another great move that Minnesota made, too, later in the draft, too. But having said that, the Jets, now, again, a logical move, but caught me off guard. Getting Fashanu, the tackle, I must admit, I thought the pick screamed Brock Bowers, but I like how this year the front office from the Jets, they're not following what Aaron said. They saw the shit show. They saw the corpse known as Randall Cobb. They saw him bringing his friends and his cronies, Alan Lazard stealing money, you know. And like I said, I even, in with all honesty, I expect Alan Lazard to be better with Aaron Rodgers healthy and being on the field, but he stole money a year ago. He got paid big money. Green Bay looks like geniuses letting him go, you know. So, but say all that, grabbing Fashanu, great move. You're protecting Aaron Rodgers, and you got to make sure that Aaron Rodgers is upright. So at the end of the day, additions that they made in free agency that we've discussed in the previous episodes, and then this move tonight is a move for the future and a move that can help now. Great move for the Jets. Got to give them props. Very next was the Denver Broncos. And interesting, Bo Nix. As I said, guys, I thought he was possibly going to be the pick unless they were thinking wide receiver or some other position, which, again, I didn't see Sean Payton trying to make a sexy move like that. I kind of thought he knew I got to get this quarterback regardless, no matter what. So, you know, kudos to him on that. Shout out to Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix will be great in the system anyway. Like I said that in previous iterations, I think he'll be good, but we'll see. We'll see how everything shapes out, especially in that division, because damn, that division is going to be tough. Going forward, the Raiders luck out. Like I said, craziness in the draft. Guys just falling down into position. Brock Bowers, tight end from Georgia, going to the Raiders. Raiders didn't have a tight end. I just discussed someone a couple episodes back. Literally, the Raiders, they had Devontae Adams, they had Jacoby Myers, and then your third leader receiver was Michael Mayer, and he had 300 yards. Brock Bowers is better than Michael Mayer. Hell, you know, I'm not going to use any hyperbole because this man actually has to play some NFL games in a full season too. But, you know, there's a chance he could possibly be better than Jacoby Myers. So if he's at least better than, you know, those two guys, it's going to be a great pick. But again, you guys have watched Georgia. You guys have seen highlights of this guy. He gets open and makes plays. He starts wherever he goes. I think he's going to be a great pick for the Raiders. Great pick for the start of the Antonio Pierce era. And like I said, good foot going forward. Having said all that, we'll go forward, continue on with the 14th selection in the draft, which was from the New Orleans Saints. They grabbed Talise Fuaga from Oregon State. Again, another great pick. They have bad problems with the offensive line. I stated this also as well in the prior episode. Ryan Ramczyk is out. We know now he has a career-ending injury. He's not coming back. This is a move that needed to be made. This is a move they had to address. So, again, kudos to the Saints, looking at a problem, addressing a need early, contacting Fuaga, and just realizing, like, you know what, damn it, we're going to need him. He's a mauler, a road grader, great in pass blocking. Let's just fucking grab him and move forward. Sorry, Ryan Ramczyk, cut him the check, make sure he's good, but let's move forward. Having said all that, Indianapolis Colts with the 15th selection grabbed Laiatu Latu, and this is where you saw the defensive players starting to move. Laiatu Latu, I think, was probably the best edge rusher in the draft. You heard them ad nauseum beat everybody's damn head in about, 2 years ago, he was medically, told to retire. Yep, and God's plan is always better than man's plan. And shout out to Laiatu Latu, focused brother, dedicated, head right where it needs to be. He's going to be, I think, a great one for Indianapolis. I really do. Knowing how Shane Steichen wants to run it, have his defense ran, and knowing how Gus Bradley runs that defense, great selection for the Colts. Definitely a step in the right direction for what they're trying to do defensively. And they're, trust me, going forward in the second, third rounds and so on, they're not done. They're going to add another corner. They're going to add some more play pieces, but they're definitely going defense heavy in this draft. Going forward for the 16th selection, Byron Murphy, defensive tackle from Texas. Byron Murphy II, going to Seattle. Seattle needed a D lineman. I mean, there's no shock there. We kind of knew that looking at the situation going forward in the offseason. D line was a pressing need, so great that they addressed it. And like I said, this kid has a chance to really be great, so good pick. Where another trade happens. Jacksonville at this moment, right during the Byron Murphy, the second selection, Jacksonville had owned the 17th pick within the draft. They traded with Minnesota. Minnesota then acquired the 17th pick and further picks. I'll have a breakdown on the next episode after this on as far as like what the draft conversation was with certain trades. But having said all that, Jacksonville swapped with Minnesota. When Minnesota made that trade, they grabbed Dallas Turner, edge rusher from Alabama. I mean, Minnesota was laying down the gauntlet. They was pretty much letting it be known, like, okay, Green Bay's got their quarterback. Detroit's trying to figure out if they have their quarterback. Damn it, we're going to get ours, and we're going to get our edge rusher, Brian Flores, defensive coordinator. They're going to build that defense. You hear everybody whispering the love about Kevin O'Connell being a quarterback whisperer and sweeten up things about what he's going to do. Like I said, J.J. McCarthy's going to do what he's told. He's going to run the offense efficiently and effectively. There is weapons there. Interesting to see how the Justin Jefferson contract breaks down, because I do think they're going to pay him. Don't believe any of that bullshit when they're saying, oh, they're trading him for a pick and all this. They're not trading Justin Jefferson. They're going to set their franchise back if they do that. It was easier getting off Kirk Cousins. The decision was very simple. Do we get off Justin Jefferson or get off Kirk Cousins? Get off the guy who's 1-5, 1-6 in the playoffs. It was that simple. Going forward, though, Cincinnati with the 18th selection grabbed Amarius Mims, tackle from Georgia. This guy was in for a shitload of visits. And again, Joe Burrow needs help. Joe Burrow needs an offensive line. Not a surprise there. I give the Bengals credit. Free agency, draft, couple free agencies now. Getting Orlando Brown too. They've spent the money. They spent the money. They're really trying to get Joe Burrow to help so he can stay upright. And I just hope it works for him. But nonetheless, great selection. Amarius Mims from Georgia. Mauler, big man, biggest tackle in football last year. So he's going to put some guys away. He's going to be like a little small building and just knock it down, you know. Nonetheless, we'll move forward with the 19th selection. That was Jared Verse from Florida State going to the Rams. Jared Verse, explosive, big body guy. I mean, like I said, Rams needed him. And this is, remember what I talked about when I was discussing the Rams. You have Kobe Turner, okay? You have Kuntz. And there's no more Aaron Donald. So where was those 8 sacks coming from? It's going to be key right here. Having said all that, we go into the 20th selection, and this one kind of broke my heart a bit. And I say broke my heart because, not because I'm a Steelers fan. I didn't give a damn about the Steelers having a pick at this moment. I was a bit brokenhearted because I kind of felt with all the tackles that were in this draft that the Eagles were going to try to be a little bit more proactive and get a tackle as an heir apparent for Lane Johnson for when that time comes. Having said that, Troy Fautanu was a tackle that I thought, this is a guy that can come in and, you know, people won't be happy about the Eagles pick, but it'll be good enough where I know with the coaching and everything, they'll be happy within 2 years and they won't even give a damn that they booed or were upset, just like they did Donovan, just like they did a ton of guys. You know how Philly is, fucking crazy at times. But anyway, nonetheless, Troy Fautanu went to the Steelers. Great pick for the Steelers. They need him. Especially being that you don't know what quarterback you have. You're going to have Russ, or you're going to have Justin Fields, or you're going to get last year but a little bit better Russell Wilson, or you're going to get 2 years ago Russell Wilson. You know, Justin Fields, you know, can you make him, can you help him with his accuracy? Can he evolve in that light? Can Arthur Smith get the most? It's a lot. It's a lot. But having said that, getting Troy Fautanu, huge, great, and selection is going to help their offensive line tremendously. So, going forward, 21st selection was the Dolphins, getting Chop Robinson. Obviously, losing Christian Wilkins, you needed a defensive end. You needed some guy, you know, as I stated, getting and generating that pressure and causing teams to go, huh, you know, oh, fuck, you know. So, shout out to the Dolphins there and Chop Robinson. My Birds at number 22, Philadelphia Eagles, selecting Quinyon Mitchell. Probably one of the best value picks or low-key steals in the draft. This guy, you know, he nothing but pass deflections, nothing but interceptions. Frustrates the hell out of a wide receiver, you know, tracks him well. This guy's going to be, he has potential to really be elite. I don't ever put elite on a rookie because, you know, a rookie has to prove it, but I'll touch more on this over the weekend, during the weekend episode as far as, you know, the Eagles selections, what I think they'll do. But Quinyon Mitchell, I'll be honest with you guys now, I think he's going to fucking ball. I mean, he was one of the best corners, if not the best corner in football the past couple of years, so in college football. So, yeah. Shout out to Quinyon Mitchell. Welcome to the Bird Gang. Welcome to the Nest. Having said all that, the 23rd selection, this is where things get good again. You have a trade. Jaguars, remember, they made that trade, so now they have this selection here. 23rd, Brian Thomas Jr. Now think about it, right? Obviously, you lose Calvin Ridley, swapping with this guy. Kind of similar mode, we'll see, but good selection nonetheless for the Jaguars. They needed the other receiver. 24th, we had a trade. The Cowboys did not like what they saw and kind of gives you the run of the mill that they were kind of going either, defensive player or offensive lineman. But nonetheless, yeah, they switched with the Lions. The Lions get on the board. The hosts of the draft this evening, who had wanted to make sure they made their presence felt and got their fans involved in the excitement and the joy. And like I said, and shout out to Detroit. Shout out to Motor City. Y'all held it the fuck down tonight. 275,000 people, which was a record for a day one on the draft. And I went to the draft personally in Philadelphia. I believe that was 6-7 years ago now. I went to that draft, and me and my brother went, and it was great. It was a fantastic time. Seeing all the great players, seeing all the different news stations, companies, seeing the Lombardi Trophy, the whole NFL fan experience. Being a part of that, like I said, that was great for that draft. But Detroit, y'all got a chance to crush it. Please crush that shit. They were killing me and get on my damn nerves talking about Nashville. Nashville, Tennessee, I love y'all. I have no hate against y'all. It's just that literally they do the gaslighting and try to egg it on. Detroit, y'all gonna kill it. Just keep showing up and doing your fucking thing as usual. But having said all that, the Lions then grabbed Terrion Arnold, cornerback from Alabama. Again, trying to solve a problem. Can't be mad at the Lions for that. I think Terrion Arnold was number 1 or number 2. Some people say in their rankings, number 3 best corner in college football. Like I said, again, great pickup for the Lions. Going forward was a Lions division rival, the Green Bay Packers, picking next, and they picked Jordan Morgan out of Auburn. I like this pick a lot because, remember, guys, there's no David Bakhtiari, so with no Bakhtiari, you're going to need somebody that can potentially take that role and fill it well. Because the Packers, how they are with linemen, I'm not sure that he's necessarily going to get huge rotation time now, but being that he does have a decent amount of snaps under his belt, it's going to be something they're going to evaluate or something to evaluate going forward. Going forward on the 26th pick, the Bucks select Graham Barton. You need linemen, you need guards too. So again, shout out to Graham Barton from Duke. You needed this, bro. This is going to be a good move for you to go to Tampa. I think Tampa's going to help you. I think their offensive line, too, very underrated. Their offensive line started off very bad last year, but credit to their offensive line coach for kind of galvanizing them, getting them together. They played a lot better down the stretch going into the playoffs. And getting Graham Barton as somebody who's, has potential to be a long-time starter, possible perennial Pro Bowler. Like I said, great move for Graham Barton and great move for the Tampa Bay Bucks. Number 27 was defensive end out of Missouri, Darius Robinson, and a trade going from the Texans originally having that pick swapping with the Cardinals, and they grabbed Darius Robinson. Again, Cardinals addressing the problem. You got Maserati Marv, right? You realize that defensively, you didn't really have the teeth in the attack that you needed to really put the fear and pressure in the quarterback the way you needed to or wanted to. So clearly understood there, but it's going to be interesting to see how they continue to address this all going forward. With the 28th pick, the Chiefs had selected and got there because the Bills originally were in that spot, and then Kansas City had swapped, so the Bills had went to 32nd, Chiefs went to 28th. With that selection, the Chiefs picked wide receiver Xavier Worthy out of Texas. Great pick. Somebody floated out there. This gives me real Deshaun Jackson-ish vibes. Deshaun Jackson, just in case you ever see this, bro, I ain't never fucking comparing anybody to you and your speed, bro, as one of the best deep threat, if not the best deep threat wide receiver in NFL history. Dual threat as far as offensively and punt return, kick, special teams in that regard. The shit. Having said all that, though, Xavier Worthy is fucking fast, and this was a great pick for Kansas City. Rashee Rice, let's be honest, y'all, possibly out for the year. I'm not reporting that. I'm saying to you, all assumptions being what we know, the car crash, the information, the lawyer statement, affidavits that's been put out, document request has been filed. It's probably going to be suspended for a while. So this is going to be great for Kansas City to have a receiver, a young receiver, a fast receiver. Somebody's going to be able to play with Mahomes, fine-tune his skills, good with ball tracking, good with finding it even in the sunniest of days, and sometimes the arrowhead is very bright. So like I said, great move for Xavier Worthy, great move for the Chiefs. It's going to be interesting to see how, like I said, how they incorporate him in Hollywood Brown. And, again, times are changing, times are moving. And it's great to see how Andy is just adapting similar philosophies into new offenses and little kinks and armors. It's dope to see. Going further, number 29, the Cowboys finally get on the clock and they take Tyler Guyton. Again, you clearly see offensive line was probably one of the moves originally when they swapped with the Lions, but Fatano was gone. So, pick a little type thing. They know how it is. Jerry been doing this shit long enough. He know. Either you make a move, piss or get off the pot. And if you don't make a move fast enough, you lose. So, having said all that, number 30, the Ravens selected Nate Wiggins. I'm kind of glad because I never thought Nate Wiggins was ever coming to Philadelphia. I always kind of thought he was just a weird, or, I don't want to say weird. Let me say, for lack of better words, kind of lanky, awkward corner. A guy that can drop weight from 170 pounds to 190 and it can fluctuate like that. That's what's weird to me. That's what stands out, I should say, for lack of better words. That being said, Nate Wiggins possibly a great selection for the Ravens because y'all know how this shit go. The Ravens don't pick you. You play and show that you play like a Raven, and you get selected. So shout out to the Ravens in that regard. Number 31, Ricky Parasol from Florida going to the 49ers, which screams to me Brandon Ayuk is going. He's going. And it's not because Ricky Parasol is just going to take his spot and dominate and show you why you never needed Brandon Ayuk. You just needed Parasol. No, not that at all. Unfortunately, I just feel like with the way the contract situation with Ayuk is going and how things are shaping and playing out, this was needed. They had to get a wide receiver now so they could possibly switch up the offense and make any iterations or alterations that they need. So that way, when he acts up or he goes crazy or he disagrees, whatever, everything's still, flowing. So, don't know how that's going to work. I expect Brandon Ayuk to be traded in the second round tomorrow, so we'll see how that go. Having said all that, last but not least was 32nd, the Carolina Panthers, who, full fucking disclosure, I remember they didn't have a first round pick. Didn't even think maybe they were going to try to get a first round pick. Shout out to David Tepper for using his brain and allowing his front office people to say, hey, it's really imperative that we get Bryce Young help. He threw 11 touchdowns and 10 interceptions last year. He had 2,000 some odd yards passing. A lot of it due to injury, but at the end of the day, it was impressive to see that the Panthers went. And, the whole story came out during the draft where Xavier Leggett was saying, oh, they told me they was going to select me. Probably the wrong time to say it, kid. But, again, shout out to you, man. Shout out to they were doing the A.J. Brown comparisons. I don't know what he could possibly. I do see some of that. But Xavier Leggett, I do believe is going to be a great asset for the Panthers. And it's going to be huge for them. Now the Bills will also have, because of that trade, they'll have the top pick in the second round. So they'll be picking top of the litter again. Well, I don't want to say again, but you know what I mean. They'll be getting that as usual. Second round starts at 7 p.m. tomorrow, so definitely make sure you're tuned in and get plugged into what's going on with that. I'm not doing an after show any late or anything after that tomorrow. Just more or less want to touch the first round because it was exciting, it was great. It was a lot of information that transgressed, trades that happened that we expected, some trades that happened that we didn't expect to happen. One other thing too, before I go tonight and depart you guys and go and enjoy my night and enjoy my greenery, nice flower. Looking at some of these visits, top 30 visits was always a prominent thing that you hear teams mention, and you always hear, the top 30 visits are a true indicator. Guys, I kind of did like a little roll count. It seems weird, but follow me. From the J.J. McCarthy pick going forward, it was a shitload of trades. And if that happened, the ratio of like guys that had visits, top 30 visits, and didn't have top 30 visits, it was so, the polarities were startling. The first 7 picks were guys that had visits. 7, yeah, first 7 picks, guys that had visits. From even 8, 8 was a visit. From about 10 on, it was like, switch it up. And it was like, oh, this is different. Okay. Again, it's going to be very interesting to see how they spin going forward to people. Oh, well, the top 30 visits are a true indicator who the team's looking at. Because I can tell you, just roughly off the top of the head, Brock Bowers was not expected to fall to the Raiders. I can guarantee you that. Michael Penix was not supposed to go to the Falcons. I can guarantee you that. We can safely assume, let's just roughly throw them looking over the list off the top of my head. Who thought Dallas Turner was going to the Vikings? Maybe earlier, but when he did, and the fact that he just, yeah, it's interesting, man. It's just great to see. Kind of weird how the draft shook out for Dallas, and kind of weird how it shook out for, I guess you could probably say the Bills too, because I'm very interested to see who the Bills grab, because I think they're going to get a receiver, but not sure. Not sure. But nonetheless, guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in and watching this and plugging it with us. As always, like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel. Help people plug in, especially getting tuned and get your content from me, and stay plugged in to get this draft coverage and draft information that you need. It's going to seem a little weird, but you're going to probably see this video first, and then you're going to see episode 10, which was chronologizing the end of 32 teams in 13 days. Obviously, yesterday being the draft day, and I pretty much did a rundown of division playoff teams, conference championship, Super Bowl, team needs, and all that, and then plug that into how the draft picks worked out and where teams looked. So, again, guys, I'll go put out this candle and get done burning this midnight oil. I love you guys for always, watching. Enjoy. Be safe wherever you are. Take care. Be safe.